that one phrase. That is not who we are. Man, this allows you to speak up with strength and grace at the exact same time. It doesn't have to be this or that. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. This phrase and this phrase alone, it's going to carry some weight. You know what I love about this phrase too? That's not who we are. Sometimes you know how people respond to that, and they might not say it, but they might be feeling it. Then I don't want to be who you are. And you know what you should be saying, leader? Congratulations. I have just protected my culture. I have just safeguarded my culture. Not everybody's going to line up with your culture, and that's okay. But it is your responsibility to safeguard it. You know, when you use this phrase, you're not attacking people. It's protecting identity. It reminds everybody what you stand for as a leader, what you stand for as an organization. And let me break down why this works so well. Is because it anchors behavior to value. It anchors the behavior that you are seeing to the values of your organization. It's not just about what happened. We've observed it. We saw it. We heard it. It's about what we believe in. When we say this phrase, we're focusing less on the behavior and more on the value. Because the value, the principles, the core values, the culture of our company, this is the North Star, right? So when we say this, we're focusing more on what we love than bashing what we hate. We can't just go to people and say, stop doing that. That was dumb. You know, whatever it might be, right? We're going to focus on what we love. And what we love is who we are, our culture, our values, our mission. It corrects without condemning. So often we will condemn. And I know if you're listening to this show, you're not a leader that would ever intentionally condemn somebody. But oftentimes we choose the wrong words, and it does come down as condemning. We got to be careful. You know, when you use this phrase, you're not saying, you know what, you're a bad person. We're not saying that. You're saying this doesn't line up with who we are. It builds cultural memory. It's letting people know who we are consistently. The more your team hears it, the more they're going to start saying it to one another. This is beautiful. You know, there's an old family video that we have, and to this day, we still use this phrase. And it's a video of my son Jake and my daughter Jacqueline, who we endearingly call JQ. And I mean, Janelle, my wife's got the big old VHS, you know, on her shoulder kind of deal. I'm showing my age here. But you see Jacqueline, I forget what it was she was doing at this point. It doesn't even matter, but something wrong. So what's Jake do? Jake goes over to her and starts correcting her like he's her father. And so Janelle swoops in like, you know your role, Jake. Like, you've lost your mind. Like, you're not here to discipline your sister. But he's over there correcting a bad behavior of his sister. And so you see in the video, Janelle is like, Jake, slow down, slow your roll here. And he literally looks up to the camera and he says, I'm just trying to help her. I'm just trying to help her. You know, I love that so much. Although he was a little bit out of line, I loved it so much because what that taught me was this young boy, he understood the culture of the family. He understood the culture of the family, and it wasn't mom or dad that was going to Jacqueline and saying, stop doing that. It was Big Brother that was like, stop that. That's insanity. What are you doing, right? Man, when we do this as leaders enough, we start reproducing cultural muscle memory with the people in our organization. Now they start observing things that are outside of the culture, and they're going to start becoming ambassadors of the culture. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that amazing? The more your team hears it, the more they start saying it to one another. That's a beautiful thing. This is what healthy cultures do. They police themselves. It doesn't have to be that the leader is just running around trying to find people doing things wrong that don't line up to the culture. Culture is bigger than any one leader, but it starts with the leader speaking up. Culture always comes from the top of the organization. You cannot expect it to go any other way.